Ever wish you could just hit reset on life? Start fresh, maybe with a little more pep in your step.
Well, today we're diving into a book that's kind of like getting handed that reset button.
Oh, I like that. A reset button for life.
Right. So we're diving into Jon Gordon's The Energy Bus. Have you read it?
I have. It's such a fun, engaging read. And it doesn't just talk about, being positive. It gives you these 10 clear rules, almost like a roadmap.
Yeah. And it does it through this story, which I think is what makes it so relatable. We've got George, our main man.
Oh, George. He's a mess, at least at the beginning.
Total mess. Job's on the line. Marriage is rocky. I mean, this guy's the poster child for Case of the Mondays.
The book even mentions this statistic, right, about how more people die Monday morning at 9 a.m. than any other time. I don't know if it's true, but...
It feels true, right? Totally. Like that feeling of, back to the grind.
So enter Joy, our knight in shining armor, except she's a bus driver.
And not just any bus driver. She's like the embodiment of positive energy.
Okay, but if I'm George, first onto this bus,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, great, another reason to be grumpy. But he's drawn to her energy, isn't he?
It is, because she sees right through his act. She's like, George, you're living in a soap opera you created. Time to change the channel.
And that's rule #1, right? You're the driver of your bus.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility, taking control. But that's often the hardest part, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's easy to say, but how do you actually take the wheel when life feels out of control?
Well, that's where rule #2 kicks in. Desire, vision, and focus move your bus in the right direction. Joy, she uses this example of, you know how sometimes you think of someone and they call you minutes later?
Oh my gosh.
She calls it telephone telepathy. It's like our thoughts have this magnetic power. What we focus on, we attract.
So we're not just talking about positive thinking here. We're talking about directing your focus.
Exactly. It's about getting crystal clear on what you want in your life, your work, your relationships. Joy, she makes George write it all down.
Okay, so we've got our hands on the wheel. We know where we want to go.
Yeah.
But even the best bus needs fuel, right? What's the magic ingredient in this scenario?
Positive energy. That's rule #3. And before you think it's all rainbows and sunshine, it's really not.
Because, let's be real, some days it feels like negativity is the only thing on the menu.
And that's where you have a choice. Joy, she uses this analogy of two dogs fighting inside us, a positive one and a negative one. Whichever one you feed the most, that's the one that wins.
So how do we feed the positive dog? Especially when the negative one is barking so loudly.
She gives George this energy book, which is full of exercises and practices.
Exercises like mental workouts for positivity.
Yeah. Things like the thank you walk, where you actively look for things to be grateful for. Or the one great golf shot theory.
I am intrigued. One great golf shot. Tell me more.
So instead of focusing on all the bad shots you take in golf, you focus on that one amazing shot.
Okay, so even if you're not a golfer.
The principle applies. Focus on the highlights of your day, not just the low points. And as George starts doing these exercises, something shifts. He actually starts to feel more positive, more energized.
But this is a team effort, right? You can't just have one positive person and expect the whole bus to run smoothly.
You're so right. And that's where the next set of rules comes in, all about building your positive support system. Rule #4. Invite people on your bus and share your vision for the road ahead.
So ditch the dead weight.
Not exactly. It's more like you've got this amazing journey ahead. You want to share it with people who are just as excited. George actually creates these e-bus tickets.
Oh, I love that. He's literally inviting people to be a part of this positive change.
He is. And he's not just handing them out willy-nilly. He sits down with his teams, explains his vision, asks for their input.
That's huge. Because it's one thing to say be positive. It's another to actually create a space where people feel heard and valued. But not everyone's going to be on board, right? I mean, some people just love to complain.
And that's okay. That's rule #5. Don't waste your energy on those who don't get on your bus. You can't force people to change, but you can protect your own energy.
Which leads us to...
Rule #6. This one's important. Post a sign that says, "No energy vampires allowed on your bus."
Okay, energy vampires. I like where this is going.
They're the ones who suck the life out of every room. And it's not about being mean. It's about setting boundaries, creating a space where positivity can thrive.
So he's got to make some tough decisions, right?
Yeah.
About who's adding to the energy and who's draining it.
Exactly. And it's not easy. But George, he starts to see that holding on to those energy vampires, it's not doing anyone any favors. Not him, not the team, not even the vampires themselves.
It's like enabling. in a way.
It is, and as tough as those conversations are, ultimately it's about creating the best possible environment for everyone.
So he's clearing out the negativity, making room for the good stuff. And I'm guessing this is where we see a real shift in the team dynamic.
Big time. And it's not just about who's on the bus, it's about how they're showing up. Remember Jack?
The guy who was always pushing George to step up his game.
Exactly. Well, Jack, he sees this change in George and he's like, okay, you're getting it, but now you got to own it. It's time to become the CEO.
Wait, CEO, as in, like, of the company. I thought George was just trying to save his job, not take over the whole shebang.
That's the thing. Jack's not talking about titles. He's talking about mindset.
He tells George, being a CEO, it's not about the corner office. It's about being a chief energy officer.
Oh, I love that. CEO, Chief Energy Officer. So leading by example, basically. Exactly. And this really resonates with George because, honestly, who wants to be around a grumpy, burnt-out leader? Jack even shares his own story. He was successful in the corporate world, but miserable. Then he stumbled upon the energy bus principles.
It changed his life.
Totally. It wasn't just about work. It was about approaching everything with a more positive, energized outlook.
That's so powerful because enthusiasm, it really is contagious.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just some feel-good thing. There's actually science behind it. Marty, he's another passenger on the bus, kind of like the resident fact-checker. He brings up the study from the Institute of Heart Math.
Okay, hit me with it. I'm always up for a little science.
So they found that the heart's electromagnetic field, it's way stronger than the brain's, like 5,000 times stronger. And get this, it can be detected up to 10 feet away.
No way. Seriously.
Seriously. So we're not just sending out vibes, we're radiating energy.
So, like, my good vibes or bad vibes are actually impacting the people around me.
Exactly. It's crazy, right? We're talking energy fields. And that's why being mindful of the energy we bring to our interactions, it's crucial.
Okay, but I'm picturing George all amped up on positive energy. Maybe a little too amped up.
And that's the thing. It's not about forcing it. It has to come from a genuine place.
Right? Because no one wants to be around someone who's just putting on a happy face all the time. It feels fake.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the most powerful and maybe surprising rules in the book. Rule #8. Love your passengers.
Okay, hold on a second. Love. In the workplace. Isn't that getting a little too warm and fuzzy for, spreadsheets and deadlines?
That's what I thought at first. But it's not about romantic love. It's about approaching your interactions with genuine care and respect. It's about recognizing the value in each person you work with.
So it's more like appreciating their strengths, being there for them, wanting them to succeed.
Exactly. Jack breaks it down for George. He gives him this little list. He says, to love your passengers, you got to be present. You got to really listen, recognize their contributions, appreciate them, and help them bring out their best.
That's good stuff. And it's interesting because doesn't Joy illustrate this with that rock she gives George?
Oh, you remember that? Yes. She gives him this rock, tells him it's valuable but to keep it hidden. Well, later on, she makes him scrub it clean. And guess what's underneath all that dirt?
Don't tell me.
Gold. Solid gold. And her point is, everyone has that inner gold. It's our job to help each other find it.
That's beautiful. It's like that saying, everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind.
Exactly. We all have those moments, right? When someone sees something in us that we don't see in ourselves. And it can change everything.
So George is feeling the love. He's spreading the love. It's launch day. Is everything smooth sailing from here on out?
Well, remember what I said about life throwing curveballs?
Uh-oh. What happened? Did the product malfunction?
Yeah.
Did a major client back out?
It's actually even more relatable than that. In all the excitement of launch day, George misses the bus.
Oh, no. Talk about a test of his newfound positivity.
Right. He's freaking out, thinking, I'm going to fall apart without my daily dose of joy in the gang. But then he finds this note.
A note from Joy.
From Joy. And it's perfectly timed. It's all about rule #9. It's rule #9. Drive with purpose.
Okay, so it's like a pep talk from beyond the bus stop.
Right. But it's more than that. See, George, he realizes he's been so caught up in the product, the launch, that he's totally missed the why. Why are they doing any of this?
It's like Simon Sinek's start with why, right? But finding your why, that can be tricky.
You would think. But Joy's note reminds him, when you know your why, you can handle any how.
Okay, so what's their big why? Why are they bringing light bulbs into the world?
Well, George, he realizes he doesn't have the answer, at least not on his own. So he brings the team together. Remember Marty, our fact-checking friend? Well, he just happened to have this perfect study about these two airplane design teams.
I'm sensing a theme here. One team good, one team not so much.
You know it. The first team, they had this shared vision, a clear why driving them. The other team, they're just building parts, no real connection to the bigger picture.
Okay, I'm going to guess team shared vision takes the cake.
Oh, yeah. Twice as productive, finished in half the time. Purpose is a powerful motivator. And that's what happens with George's team.
So what's their light bulb why?
They decide they're not just selling light bulbs, they're sharing the light, making a difference, you know?
Share the light. I love it.
Yeah.
So much better than eliminating your world.
Right. And they're all in. Even vow to cultivate their own inner chief energy officers. Talk about a chain reaction of positivity. But then, launch day. It arrives. And it's not all smooth sailing.
Uh-oh. What went wrong?
Yeah.
Did the light bulb short circuit?
Life happened, the kind of stuff you can't control. And that's where rule #10 comes in. This one's huge. Have fun and enjoy the ride.
Okay, because if you can't find joy in launching a light bulb,
Right. Joy's like, George, you're so busy stressing, you're missing the best part. Life is a journey, not a destination.
easier said than done some days.
Totally. But she tells him about this study. They asked a bunch of 95-year-olds what they'd do differently.
Oh, I love those wisdom of elders things. Lay it on me. What do they say?
Their biggest regrets? Not working hard enough. Nope. Making enough money. Nah. They wish they'd enjoyed the ride more. Taken risks, reflected, really savored life.
That's powerful. And a little sobering, honestly.
Right. But also freeing. We put so much pressure on ourselves, you know? But sometimes it's about letting go of the destination and just being present in the moment. And that's what the energy bus is all about. Finding joy in the journey, spreading positivity, lifting each other up. So what do you think? Ready to grab a seat?
Sign me up. Where's my e-ticket? It's been amazing.